nangyari na po the first appearance hearing ng ICC wherein ang former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, who is now under the custody of ICC po, no? Dyan sa Netherlands or The Hague, nakumpisa na po the first appearance hearing carried out by ICC yesterday, March 14 po. And ito po, si Nico Fabian, once again, I would like to invite each and every one of you to participate itong NikTok, the Real Talk with Nico. Today is March 15 and it's Saturday, and I will be sharing with you some footages regarding ang sabihin natin ang appearance hearing ng ICC wherein si President Rodrigo Roa Duterte attended online po, no? Online siya, hindi physical. And the reason behind why he did appear online is because of, according to the ICC judges, that it is because of his health reason. So I will show to you, I will share with you some of these footages, no? Regarding itong appearance hearing po. And of course, ang purpose ng appearance hearing is mainly to allow President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to identify himself, and at the same time he will be enlightened, he will be informed of his rights and the cases against him, the allegations of murder, which is violating the human rights, no? Violating human rights. And of course, the purpose of the appearance hearing also was meant to, sabihin natin, to inform or make a decision on the date of the actual pre-trial hearing ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Nandito po ang mga footages I'm going to share with you. But before anything else, I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my followers dito po sa NikTok, the Real Talk with Nico. And today I am in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, monitoring since yesterday, monitoring the activities dyan po sa Netherlands as well as the activities updates, political news updates in the Philippines or in Manila. But before going any further, I would like to shout out muna tayo kay Bernard Young, who is watching my program this morning. Bernard Young is in Sabah, Malaysia, as well as same greetings goes to Bong Sebastian, who is watching my program in the Philippines or in Manila. I don't know which part exactly Bong Sebastian is watching, but I am pretty sure that he is watching dyan po sa Manila. Alright, to start with, let's go straight to the point, no? To start with, okay, during the appearance hearing, FPRRD was present online, and of course his counsel, his lawyer, no other than the former Secretary of Duterte, si Attorney Salvador Megaldea, and who is physically present in the court during the appearance hearing. And of course, also inside the courtroom, inside the courtroom was our Vice President, the daughter of Duterte, no other than si Inday Sara Duterte. And of course, we also saw the appearance or the presence of no other than the Senator of the Philippines, si Ruben Padilla, and also Attorney Harry Roque po. But they were not allowed to participate in the appearance hearing po, in the session or in the proceedings po. They are just there to observe the proceedings of the appearance, the first appearance of President or former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte at the ICC International Criminal Court there in Netherlands. Okay, to start with, I would like to share with you, ito po, this is the actual hearing, the actual hearing recorded by me yesterday po, last night ito po, no? Last night. Around 9 something it started, and it lasted for almost 30 minutes po, no? Almost 30 minutes. It's just a quick one because it's just, sabihin natin po, formality sake na lang yan po. Shout out din kay Dexter Danilan, who is watching my program today. Thank you very much. In Malay, Dex, we used to say it, salamat pagi for good morning, salamat patang for good afternoon, and salamat malam for good evening. So, thank you very much for watching. Now, let me share you the actual recorded procedure dyan po sa The Hague, ang appearance hearing ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Alright, let's watch this footage po. Dito po, okay, give me a second and I will cue. That is a little bit longer because I want to show to you talaga po na ano talaga nangyari dyan po sa appearance hearing. So, alright, let me share with you itong hearing po. You hold on. Nandito. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. I don't know if I will give you full screen, full screenshot. Hold on.
Court officer, please vote.
Hold on. Okay, here is it. I'll give you a full screen on the actual appearance hearing of the ICC yesterday po, March 14, and I suppose not everybody managed to watch last night live, and it is for this purpose that I am giving you this, showing you these footages.
Thank you very much. Court officer, could you please call the case? Thank you, Madam President. Your Honours. The situation in the Republic of the Philippines case, the prosecutor versus Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte, case number ICC 0121-0125, and we are in session.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I will now ask the parties to introduce themselves, starting with the Office of the Prosecutor. Please pause before speaking and speak slowly to allow the interpreters to interpret appropriately. May I ask you to introduce yourself and to confirm whether the list of your staff that I received prior to the hearing is correct, Mr. Prosecutor?
Your Honours, good morning. The list is correct. Once again, Deputy Prosecutor Manjay Niang to my left, Trial Lawyer Edward Jeremy behind us, Trial Lawyer Robin Croft, International Cooperation Advisor Chantel Daniels, and our very able case manager Grace Go. I'm Karim Khan, the prosecutor.
Mitch. I now turn to the counsel for the defense of Mr. Duterte. As everyone can see, Mr. Duterte is present and is attending the hearing via video link. As Mr. Duterte made a long journey involving a considerable time difference, the chamber authorized Mr. Duterte to follow the hearing at a distance. His counsel, however, is present with us in the courtroom. Thank you, counsel. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I am Salvador C. Medjaldea, counsel for Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, counsel. I will now introduce the chamber. By my side, we have the Judge Reine Adelaide Sophie Alapine Gansu, the Vice President of the Court, and Judge Maria del Socorres Flores Liera. I am the presiding judge of the pretrial chamber 1 of the court, and my name is Julia Antonella Mortok. Now, I would like to speak to you, Mr. Duterte. I'm speaking French, but you are receiving an interpretation of what I'm saying in English. I understand that you are at ease in the English language and that the interview yesterday at the detention centre was conducted in English and that you did not deem it necessary to request interpretation into any other language during this interview. This said, I would like firstly to confirm your identity. Could you provide us with your full names, please?
Rodrigo Roa Duterte. That's my first middle name is Roa. Surname is Duterte.
Thank you very much. What is your date of birth?
Again,
We repeated. I don't think he heard it. Thank you.
Repetition from the English booth. What is your date of birth? Yes, thank you very much, Counsel. I was asking quite simply of Mr. Duterte what his full names were, and then I subsequently asked him what his date of birth was and what his place of birth is. Is that all right, Counsel?
of course, I do. My birth day is March 28, 1945. I was born in the province of Leyte in the Philippines.
As a preliminary point. Very well, thank you, Mr. Duterte. As a preliminary point, it is useful to clarify the nature and limited scope of this first appearance hearing. Today's hearing is neither the start of the trial, nor is it a confirmation of charges hearing. During today's hearing, no evidence will be collected or presented, and the issues of Mr. Duterte's guilt or innocence will therefore not be addressed. In accordance with Article 61 of the Rome Statute, the Court's founding treaty, and Rule 1211 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the main purpose of this initial appearance is to answer 3 questions. Firstly, the Chamber must ensure that the person who was the subject of the arrest warrant has been informed of the crimes of which he is accused. Second, the Chamber must ensure that this person has been informed of his rights as recognised by the Rome Statute. Third, the Chamber must set a date on which it intends to hold a confirmation of charges hearing. The Chamber notes that your counsel, Mr. Duterte, filed 2 motions, one in relation with today's hearing, and you may be aware that these 2 motions have not been accepted by the Chamber because of the nature of today's hearing. No further discussion on the matter is necessary during this hearing because, as I said at an earlier stage, the aim of this hearing today is to introduce the parties and to ascertain the charges and to set a date for the confirmation of charges hearing at a later stage. With regard to the first point, I recall that Mr. Duterte has received a copy of the warrant for his arrest and that a redacted version of the prosecutor's application for the issuance of the warrant of arrest is public. I will now ask the court officer to read the charges against him. The charges will be read in English. Please, over to you, Madam Courtroom Officer. Thank you, Madam President, Your Honours. On 7 March 2025, pre-trial Chamber 1, concluded that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte is criminally responsible pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the Rome Statute as an alleged indirect co-perpetrator for the crime against humanity of murder pursuant to Article 7(1)(a) of the statute as follows. A. Murder of at least 19 persons, allegedly drug pushers or thieves, killed by members of the Davao Death Squad in various locations in or around Davao City, Philippines between 2011 and 2016. B. Murder of at least 24 persons, allegedly criminals, such as drug pushers or thieves or drug users, killed by or under the supervision of members of the Philippines law enforcement, sometimes with the assistance of persons who were not part of the police, at various locations in the Philippines between 2016 and 2019. Mr. Duterte, I'm not going to ask you to stand up because I know your condition, so I'm going to allow you to remain seated. You have just heard the reading of the charges, which are in accordance with the content of the arrest warrant you received. This means that you have been informed of the crimes of which you are accused. And this concludes the examination of the first point mentioned above. I will now turn to the second point, which concerns your rights as a suspect before this court. I will summarize some of these rights, which are of particular importance at this stage of the proceedings. Those rights are as follows. You can benefit from the assistance free of charge of a competent interpreter and benefit from the necessary translations to meet the requirements of fairness. You have the right to have the time and facilities necessary to prepare your defense and to communicate freely and confidentially with the counsel of your choice. You have the right to remain silent, and you cannot be forced to testify against yourself or to confess guilt. You can also make statements in your defense without taking an oath. In addition to any other disclosure provided for in the statute, the prosecutor must disclose to you, as soon as practicable, evidence in his possession or at his disposal that shows or tends to show your innocence or to mitigate your guilt, or that could undermine the credibility of the evidence against you. At the confirmation of charges hearing, you can contest the charges, challenge the evidence presented by the prosecutor, and present evidence. There will be no trial if the charges are not confirmed or if the proceedings against you are completed. You have the possibility to make an application for interim release pending trial, and findings to Duterte you counsel and in detail of the nature, cause, and content of the charges in the language that you fully understand and speak. Counsel, have you understood?
We're listening, ma'am. We're listening, and before it ends, may we be allowed to present the manifestation under circumstances behind the delivery of Mr. Duterte in this chamber.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yun po, that's the official proceedings of the first appearance hearing carried out by ICC. kay former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte po. And of course, during the official proceedings of the appearance hearing, of course, the ICC authorities already made it very clear ang mga rights ni Duterte. He was given the opportunity to identify himself, and he was informed of the allegations brought forward sa kanya po in terms of itong sabihin natin murder cases against mga drug victims during the time of Duterte when he imposed or enforced this drug on war in the Philippines when he was the president of the Philippines from 2016 hanggang 2022. 22. Now, of course, it was also made clear about the date of the sabihin natin or confirmation date of the pre-trial po, no? Of this case against FPRRD. FPRRD. And during the deliberation or during the proceedings, now ang attorney, ang counsel ni Digong also requested to read ang manifesto niya po about the how Digong was arrested and brought to Netherlands last March 11 po. And of course, nandito po. Let's listen to this po. Ang manifestation ni attorney or counsel ni Rodrigo Roa Duterte po, si attorney Salvador Bangaldea. You hold on. You listen to this.
Was bundled into a
Hold on. Dito po. I'll give you full screen again.
Thank you. Can I...
Wait, presiding judge, yes, counsel.
Please. 2 days ago, the whole world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into a private aircraft and summarily transported to The Hague. To us lawyers, this would be called an extrajudicial rendition. To the less legally inclined, it was a pure and simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of his citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score settling. Two troubled entities struck an unlikely alliance. An incumbent president who wished to neutralize and choke the legacy of my client and his daughter on the other hand, and a troubled legal institution subject to delegitimization and desperate for a price cuts and a legal show today on the other hand. With this in mind, it is not surprising that my client was abducted from his country. ICC private jets do not drop out of the thin air. That jet which received my client was coordinated in advance. The UAE is not a state party to the ICC and has no obligation to cooperate with the court. Yet my client sat in transit in that country for more than 5 hours. I invite the registry's representative to present today in court to explain to the judges exactly how they believe this transfer was anything other than a gross abuse of process. Given the precipitous arrival of my client, an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor of sight, he was taken to a hospital for observation. Only this morning have I met him for the first time with less than an hour to discuss legal issues. I have not been able to present him with a hard copy of the arrest warrant because we were not supplied with such. I have not even been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of the arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only established a redacted version of the prosecution request last night. Other than to identify himself, my client is not able to contribute anything to this hearing. Most importantly, he is not able even to tell you that he has been informed of the charges as contained in the arrest warrant for a reason more pertinent to which I alluded in my written request to this honorable pre-trial chamber this morning, and which is confidential in nature. Accordingly, I repeat my respectful request, which was rejected this morning, to postpone the substantive aspect of this hearing to the next week, when I will have the opportunity to sit with my client and to explain to him what the confirmation hearing is and what the disclosure is, and how the prosecution alleges that he committed crimes. I thank the court for its attention and regret to say that I do not have instructions to continue my submission any further today. Thank you.
Okay, that's it. The manifestation of Counsel Salvador Magaldea po during the appearance hearing of the ICC yesterday, March 14 po. And during the manifestation, clearly Magaldea already informed ICC on the manner Duterte was brought to Netherlands, from the Philippines, from his home country to Netherlands to face the ICC court. And of course, there are some legal technicalities that the group of Duterte is now trying to push, and hopefully he will be returned, or the petition will be respected by the ICC, and he will be returned back to the Philippines po and face the charges in the Philippines to be carried out by the local court. And of course, nakita natin po lahat ng mga karamihan ng mga Filipinos there in Netherlands upon his arrival in that country, they were all shouting to return Duterte back to the Philippines. Po. And of course, obviously, we can see the overwhelming support of the Filipino communities in Netherlands regarding the arrest and importation of Duterte dyan po sa ICC. And this time around, let's listen to the, sabihin natin, ang reply ng ICC dyan po sa manifestation of Counsel Attorney Salvador Magaldea po. Let's listen to this po, ang response ng ICC. Nandito po, you hold on Nandito ang response and the conclusion of the hearing or appearance hearing of Duterte. Let's listen to this. Again, I'm going to give you a full screen po so that you will be able to hear it and see properly po, no? For those who have been texting me a few seconds ago and asking where I am now, I just want to inform you that I am in Kuala Lumpur, dito po sa Malaysia. I'm not in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah is Malaysia, but I'm now here in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, every day I will continue to give sa mga followers ko po dito sa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. I'm going to give you the latest updates regarding these issues and other issues, political issues dyan po sa Pilipinas. So, hold on. Here is the response of ICC on the manifestation of Magaldea. You hold on.
Thank you, Counsel. Now, with regard to the health issues of Mr. Duterte, I believe that the court has taken specific measures with regard to his health situation, and I note that subsequent to his his arrest and when he arrived at the detention center, the court's doctor was of the opinion that you were fully mentally aware and fit, and that you have undergone further checks and tests at the detention facility. And when you broached health matters, that's saying that you were not able to come to the hearing, the doctors who consulted with you were of the opinion that Mr. Duterte was not in a position to come to the hearing physically, but that if he gave a written permission, he would be able to take part via video link. Now, that is with regard to the health matters that you just mentioned. They are very important, especially concerning the matter of age. Now, with regard to the rights of Mr. Duterte, we have before us the registrar's or the registry's report that says that Mr. Duterte has been informed of his rights, including Articles 66 and 67 of the Rome Statute, and that that he is aware of his rights and that he is also aware of the charges against him. We have before us the report of the registry saying that he was also aware of the warrant of arrest in the English language and that he is very well versed in the English language. Once again, you have the possibility of these charges being read in English, which was the case today. I have read to you in the French language the rights that he has, Mr. Duterte, before this court, and I'd like to specify once again that this is an initial hearing in order for Mr. Duterte to be aware of his rights and the charges against him. And then there will be a full procedure that will unfurl leading up to the confirmation of charges that will enable Mr. Duterte to raise all the matters that you have just raised with regard to the warrant of arrest, with regard to the crimes committed, with regards to the charges and any other matters associated with his arrest and the matters of jurisdiction of the court. You have the opportunity to do this throughout these proceedings leading up to the actual confirmation of charges hearing. Now, counsel, with regard to your request for another hearing to be held next week, well, your initial request, that was, this was not accepted by the court. Now, you have seen the two decisions of the court that have been disclosed to you, and you are aware of the fact that these two decisions were refused. And this is by dint of the fact that this first initial appearance hearing does not need much preparation, as I have said to you on a number of occasions. I am now going to move on to the third stage, which is to set the date for the confirmation of charges hearing. After assessing all factors, including the need for the parties and participants to adequately prepare, as well as Mr. Duterte's rights, including his right to be tried within a reasonable time, the date for the commencement of the confirmation of charges hearing is September the 23rd, 2025. I would add that in accordance with Rule 1217 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, this date may be postponed by the Chamber depending on the progress of the proceedings, either on its own motion or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Before concluding this hearing, I would like to inform the parties of the next procedural steps. First, I would like to recall that in accordance with Rule 1212B of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the Chamber holds status conferences to ensure these conferences are organised either ex officio or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Secondly, a set of decisions will be taken in a timely manner to ensure that the proceedings progressed smoothly and expeditiously. More specifically, I am referring referring in particular to a decision on the arrangements and procedure for the disclosure of evidence, and a decision setting a timetable for the disclosure of evidence in such a way as to ensure orderly and efficient disclosure between the parties. In this regard, the Chamber orders the prosecutor to begin disclosing today the information on the basis of which the warrant of arrest was issued, and to complete this disclosure no later than within the next 7 days. The Chamber will also issue a decision on the participation of the victims who, according to the statute of the court and to the extent permitted by the Chamber, are authorized to present their views and concerns at this stage of the proceedings. We have come to the end of Mr. Duterte's first appearance hearing. I would like to thank all the participants in this hearing, the interpreters and the stenographers. This concludes today's hearing.
Okay, that's it. Yun po ang answer ng ICC when it comes to the manifestation of Counsel Attorney Salvador Magaldea po, no, during the first appearance hearing of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte po dyan sa ICC or International Criminal Court po. And of course, nandyan din po, they already announced na the next confirmation, you call it a confirmation of charges hearing, has been scheduled already, confirmed sa September 23. Now, what will happen between now until September 23 po? Because it will take something like another 5 to 6 months po, no? That we don't know what will happen. Will Duterte remain under the custody of ICC or what not? But obviously, I don't think so. ICC will allow Duterte to be sent back to the Philippines. Sent back to the Philippines po. And yan po, let's see ang mga updates dyan po sa Netherlands, and I will make sure that you will be properly updated. Now, talking about the presence of Vice President Sara Duterte, as well as Senator Ruben Padilla, as well as Attorney Harry Roque po, no? They are now in the Netherlands. They are now in Netherlands, and they attended the hearing, appearance hearing po yesterday, although they are not allowed to speak or to participate po, but they managed to observe ang proceedings. And I will show you a footage wherein the media in excuse me po, dyan sa ICC po, no, or sa Netherlands, they managed to interview kay Sara Duterte or VP Sara Duterte po, and I will share with you itong interview sa kanya po. Hold on, anong code natin? 332. Saan na yung 332? Sandali lang po. 332. Well, let's get 332. Nandito po ang footage po ni Sara Duterte. Sara Duterte at saka ang interview niya po. Let's listen to this.
The detention center. I visited former President Duterte. He is in the hospital wing of the detention center, and he is in good spirits. He is well taken care of. Nag-comment lang siya na he really misses Filipino food. Yun lang. But very recently sa meal nila, meron ng rice. So that was a good development. And then we discussed about his legal team, and we discussed about the family, and we discussed about the country. Appearing before a live stream, but I think it was the decision of the doctor. So, inside the facility, all the decisions are made by the doctor. As a request, he asked me to go home. So, he repeatedly said, do not leave the country. Do not leave the Philippines. And so, I told him na, I know, I understand that. And I do not want to be here as well. Unfortunately, I am the only one who has a Schengen visa, and I am the only one who is a lawyer. So I told him that when we are able to meet with the legal team, that I will immediately return home and yes, do my work. Talk to lawyers, they call it extraordinary rendition, but for a family member like me, that's kidnapping. That's forcibly taking my father to another country and illegally arresting him. So that's clearly kidnapping. All our countrymen for your prayers and your profound support to the former presidents. We can feel your love. We can feel your anger. We can empathize with everyone. Everyone's rage about what happened. And let us not be let us not forget the real issues in our country, and that is that is the poverty, that is the corruption, that is the failure of the government to answer the demands from the people about accountability and transparency, and the failure of the government to address peace and security in our country.
Okay, yun po si Vice President Sara Duterte giving his reaction or her reaction about the hearing and of course the arrest of her father, si former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte or si Digong po. Na medyo natasya ko dyan po when according to Inday Sara, ang instruction ng tatay niya, si Digong, sa kanya po is don't leave the country. Go back to the Philippines. Don't leave the country. Despite of all the problems that or anxieties and stress that Digong is facing, ngayon po dyan sa Netherlands o dyan po sa ICC, nakita natin po how he really loved the country, how he really loved every Filipino po, no? And that is for this reason that siguro sinabi niya sa anak niya, no? Si Inday Sara Duterte, uwi ka na. Don't leave the country. Don't leave the Philippines. Kailangan sa iyo ang mga Pilipino. Kailangan sa iyo ang Philippines. So touching for me po. So touching. Para sa akin po, it's so touching po. No? And of course, nandyan po ang suporta ng mga Filipinos not only in the Philippines but also even there in the Netherlands. And other parts of the world po, ang mga Filipino, they are solidly supporting ang Duterte, sabihin natin, struggle, political struggle and personal struggle po that they are facing now po. So don't leave ang Duterte po, don't leave tayo. Let us not leave si Digong dahil po siya din, even though he's already facing this kind of hurdle, no? Na nandoon pa rin sa isip niya po ang Pilipinas, ang mga Filipinos po. That we should be very grateful sa kanya po. Other people might not be thinking this way and maybe they will be thinking only on how to escape from this problem they are facing now. Pero si Digong po, iba talaga po, no? Ibang-iba talaga. And let us not forget what these people, ang present administration, the Marcos administration is doing. They said that they have nothing to do with the deportation ba yan? Nothing to do with the sending Duterte dyan po sa ICC po dahil they are just doing their part as part that they are actively it's not the ICC po, no, it's not the ICC, it's the Philippine government. And accordingly, I don't know how true is it that the airplane or the jet that brought Duterte to ICC or Netherlands po is owned by
I'm her father. She has not had the occasion, and neither have I had the occasion to meet with the president. Only Executive Secretary Mendeldea, who accompanied him on the plane here, has had the opportunity to meet him this morning for less than an hour. I'm a bit disappointed at the practices of the ICC that has delayed the visit of a family member to an accused. We look up to the ICC as a model for international justice, and the fact that it has taken 2 days for a family member to see the accused, I think does not speak well of the practices of the court. We condemn it. Second, very much disappointed that the court did not address the issue of kidnapping as a means to divest the court of jurisdiction. We think that the ICC should again set an example in promoting international justice, and when kidnapping is allowed as a means of acquiring jurisdiction over the jurisdiction of the accused, we think this too is a travesty of justice. You cannot correct a wrong by committing another wrong. I think it is high time that the court clarify its position on this matter. It is unacceptable that we accept accept jurisdiction acquired through kidnapping, especially when the kidnapping took place in the context of the Philippines, where the court is now being used as a tool of oppression by the Marcos government. But I reiterate, this is unheard of, even in a country like the Philippines, where family members, a family member, a daughter no less, was not allowed access to her father. This is a very sad day for international justice. Very sad day. Antayin natin.
Okay, that's it po. That's Attorney Harry Roque, one of the strong supporters of the Duterte clan or the Duterte team po, no? And he is now in Netherlands extending support to former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte or si Digong. I was made to understand he already applied, and his application to be one of the consuls of Digong dyan po sa ICC has been approved. And let's listen po. Let's see what will happen next. No? And matagal pa ito po. September 23 pa ang confirmation of charges. Scheduled hearing po. September 23. Alright. Let's go to Philippines. Whether the arrest and the hearing of Digong or former president, will there be any impact dyan po sa political activities, ongoing political activities dyan po sa Pilipinas? Especially that now we are moving towards ang sabihin natin ang midterm election dyan sa Pilipinas, no? Midterm election which is scheduled on May 12. I have a footage here, and ang mga local programs natin, public service programs natin po, they interviewed one of these political strategists dyan sa Manila by the name of Alan Herman, no? Alan Herman, and ito po ang reaction niya or ang statement niya regarding itong issue, whether may impact ba yan po both sa grupo ni Bongbong Marcos, yun na alyansa ng Pilipinas para bagong alyansa para sa bagong Pilipinas, spearheaded by Bongbong Marcos Jr., or ang PDP laban spearheaded by Duterte po, no, by Duterte. Let's listen first to this statement ni political strategist si Alan Herman. Hold on, okay, you listen to this.
Use the perfect word, Mama Ali, no?
polarization is really the order of the day. Kasi if you're not with us, you're against us. Ganun na nangyayari ngayon sa ating political landscape. Meron po tayong tatlong tenets sa pagiging isang political campaign strategist. The way to win an election is to make people laugh, make people cry, or make people angry. So, yung dalawang checkbox po, make people angry and make people cry, parang pasok na pasok ang mga pangyayari para sa mga taga-suporta ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at para sa mga taga-suporta in general of the Duterte brand and the PDP senatorial candidates. They are now crying and they have reason to cry and they have reason to be angry. So, on the short term po, definitely we can expect, that's almost a certainty, that we can expect an uptick in their support. Kasi yung core group nila, tinatawag nating core group, ma-inflame po yan, ma-impassion. Meron sila ngayong new cause, meron silang rallying point, itong nangyari. Ang tanong lang po dyan, is it sustainable? Will it sustain until May? Tandaan po natin, 50 days left to go before the election. So yung share of voice po, out of sight, out of mind phenomenon, iba po yung naka-detain dito si Pangulo, dating Pangulo, iba rin yung napakalayo niya, nasa the Netherlands siya. No? So all these factors come into play whether this passion, this reignited passion will be sustainable until the elections. But definitely po may uptick yan. That's exactly well, again, we're looking at it from just to be clear, we're looking at it, ma'am, the way you framed your question is from the lens of the PDP. Yes, yan po ang challenge sa kanila. Paano natin masusustain ang galit, ang indignation, and in many ways, ang pity, ang sympathy ng tao hanggang araw ng halalan. What a terrible analogy po, no? Pero tandaan po natin yung nangyari nung halalan para sa Pangulo at namatay ang ating tinatawag na icon of democracy na si dating Pangulong Corazon Aquino. Suddenly, na iba yung dynamic ng presidential race, biglang naging frontrunner ang kanyang anak na si now the late President Noynoy Aquino. So that was just one of the examples of the so-called inflection points na maaaring magbago ang complexion at tema ng halalan.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yun po, that's the reaction or statement made by one Filipino political strategist regarding the event, ongoing event dyan po sa ICC, ang arrest ni Digong or former President of the Philippines, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. May impact yan po, definitely po, no? May impact yan. Ang sympathy vote will go to the camp of Duterte. Akalang mga Marcoses po, if they're going to do this thing, the sympathy votes will not go to the Duterte. Instead, it will go to them po, no? Parang hero sila. They want to make it appear na sila talaga, fair na fair sila po. Apparently po, maybe as your followers will think that way, but karamihan, majority of the Filipinos, especially yung mga mahirap po, they understand what is happening po ang actions ni Marcos. In fact, this thing could have been prevented kung si Marcos did not allow or extended assistance to bring Duterte sa ICC po the other day po. It is his prerogative. It is he got the power to stop, but he never did that because he really wants to remove ang mga Duterte sa political arena dyan po sa Pilipinas for selfish motive po. Sorry po, this is how I feel. And I think I have the right, it's my right to express or think the way how I think po, no? As long as I'm not doing anything that is against the law of the land. For me, as a citizens of the Philippines and as a voter, I believe may si Marcos po, if he wanted to stop the sending of Duterte dyan po sa ICC. He was saying he is just helping ang Interpol. There is no such thing po, balon yan para sa akin po. No? That's why, for me, I also believe that what we shall do now po, mga supporters ni Duterte, no? Every survey po, every political survey, let us participate also, no? Let us participate and show, show to them. I hope they will, conducting itong mga survey po, they will not be biased, no? Let us make it public, be it on the online survey or sa mga ibang survey po. Now, let us show to the world, show to the Filipinos that straight vote tayo sa mga kandidato ng PDP laban. 9 lang yun sila po. We still have another few slots to choose from among the members of the Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas po. I for one, I believe si former Senator Tito Soto is a good material din po, no? Can be included sa vacant na slot for the PDP laban kasi 12 vacant slot man yun. So ang PDP laban na mayroon lang sila po 9. You can also include si Tito Soto, no? He's a group materials. Si Piglason also, I believe is also good. He's also good. So basta importante dyan po, straight tayo sa number 9 candidates. Lahat ng mga candidates, 9 candidates of PDP laban, straight tayo po. And from now on po, let us not be afraid to participate ng mga survey po, and let the world know that ang survey po is not being led by the LDP. LDP laban na candidates po. In fact, ang Pulse Asia already came out, is it yesterday or today, na ang leading sa Magic 12 ngayon po is Senator Bongo. Bongo po. So, tingnan natin. But this survey, Pulse Asia, they did it before itong March 11 incident wherein Duterte was brought to ICC po. Let's see the next survey po, the next survey, political survey po, or poll survey. And from there, we will be able to see ano talaga. So, let's be united and make sure that we are supporting continue to support our former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, who did everything for the sake, for the love of the Filipinos, for the love of the Philippines po. Yet now, look what happened po. Look what happened. Can I say it, nag-betray sa kanya itong leader natin ngayon, dyan sa Pilipinas, si President Bongbong Marcos. So what? Kasi yon po ang sentiment ng mga Filipinos na when it comes to ang feelings nila towards ang mga Marcoses po. So siguro hanggang dito na lang po ang programa natin, and of course I will make sure that from to time, since I'm doing it every day, ang NikTok, the Real Talk with Nico, I will make sure that each and every one of you will be updated, especially dyan po sa Sabah, Malaysia, specifically dyan pa sa Kota Kinabalu City, ang mga kababayan ko, kababayan natin na OFWs, including na mga undocumented Filipinos po dito sa Kuala Lumpur din po. I was made to understand na solid ang Filipino community supporting ang Dutertes, ang Dutertes. Maganda yon po. And ano pa? Let us not forget to pray every day and make sure that we will achieve our goals and objectives po. Be it in terms of security for the country, in terms of political stability, in terms of economic stability for the country, and of course for the safety and good health of our former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, who is now detained or under the custody of the ICC or International Criminal Court po. So with this, once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. I love you. Take good care and see you tomorrow. Bye.